Let's talk about the deregulation of energy, specifically PG&E market SoCal. Okay, so have you ever heard about the deregulation of energy? I know a lot of people haven't heard, and that's a question I get from a lot of people whenever I talk to them. So what is deregulation anyway? So the definition of deregulation is the removal of regulations or restrictions, especially in a particular industry. What does that mean? It gives us choices. That's a good thing. So choices allow for competitive pricing, lock-in rates, various choices, ability to be proactive with your energy choice. And the choice is always good. So let me tell you essentially how I explain it to people. I tell people there's two parts of your natural gas bill. The first is the commodity, which is the procurement, the actual gas itself. The second part is the transferring, the manning the lines. And those two charges are lumped together. Deregulation allowed for the procurement or the gas to give other companies to come out and basically offer competitive rates. That's where Xoom comes in, okay? So I tell people that PG&E will always charge for manning the lines and transferring the gas to your home. Unfortunately, you will always have to pay PG&E for that because it would be impossible for any company like Xoom or any of these other companies to come in and dig new trenches and so forth just to be able to add the pipes and all that. It just wouldn't make sense. So what the point of the matter is the commodity or the gas is the part where they now have a choice to be able to lock in and be able to have some consistency with the terms that they're paying for every single month. So they will see two charges on their bill. They are not being double charged. They just now see the two charges separated. So you might want to let customers know that. So where to look for information on PG&E gas section of the customer's bill? Here it's all laid out. You're going to need 3 bits of information. First of all, the service agreement ID number is going to be located at the top left-hand side, okay? The account number is always at the top page of each of the energy statement bill. You don't need to put the dash, you just put the number. So instead of dash, like say if this is -3, just put 3. The meter number is going to be the top right-hand side. And if you want to know what the procurement or the gas charge is each month that PG&E charges, it will be located right there where it's circled, PG&E's gas rates each month. As you can see, PG&E varies every single month. It fluctuates based on supply and demand. We do not know what the rate's going to be the next month or the next month. We know what it is the current month. So if people ask, well, do you know what that's going to be? I tell them, no, absolutely not. It's going to depend on supply and demand. However, at least with Xoom, you know what the rate's going to be for the next 12, 24 months if you lock in. You have some form of stability. So now, are there any other fees? Yes, depending on the plan, you will have either $2.99 or $6.99 administrative fee charged monthly. So if you're looking at California, let's see, PG&E markets, for residential, it's going to be the standard is like $2.99. If you do the eco or the carbon free, it's $6.99. Now you can find that in the details. I don't recommend usually the eco or the carbon free because of that $6.99 administrative fee is a little higher. I know commercial, it's $4.99. So, you know, depending on if it's residential or commercial. So now, I do tell them that, yes, there is that fee. However, PG&E also has fees associated. So just so you know, okay? Now, what if a customer wants to cancel? If a customer signs up for the 12 or the 24 month, there is a cancellation fee. Again, that cancellation fee is outlined. And why I tell them there is because Xoom is buying your gas in bulk with the intent that you're going to be a customer for the next 12 or 24 months. So if you decide to cancel within a few months, Xoom has acquired all this gas on your behalf. So it makes sense that there's going to be some form of cancellation fee because of that. Now, will the customer get a separate bill? Not in the PG&E markets. They will continue to get one bill from PG&E with the commodity Xoom and then the transportation lined out on their bill. So again, they will see 2 charges. One from PG&E charging for the gas, which is just the transportation. And now they will see a portion with the commodity from Xoom with what they're paying per therm at whatever rate they lock in at, okay? Now, where to look for information on the SoCal gas section of a customer's bill? There's 2 bits of information for SoCal. The account number is going to be at the top portion of the bill, and then the meter number is going to be towards the middle section on the left-hand side. Now, where do you see the gas commodity rates? That's going to be towards the bottom portion of the bill. As you can see, it again, same thing like PG&E, it fluctuates month to month based on supply and demand. Will the customer get a separate bill for SoCal and SDG&E? Yes, they will. Okay, so let them know that. They will get a separate bill from Xoom for the commodity, and they will still get a bill from the gas provider for the transportation. Now, can the customer opt for paperless billing? Some people don't want another bill, another paper bill. So just tell them, yes, you know what, actually, when we're signing you up towards the end, you will have the option to go paperless. And if they decide to not do it, then you can say you can always go to my Xoom account and go ahead and choose that, or contact Xoom and do that later on if you choose to do that as well. So that way they have less paperwork. How to know if a customer is already with another energy provider? That is super important because we see that many times happen. So if you see the amount due page, it will have it right below the PG&E gas delivery charges. So as you can see, there's another company there listed, and that's how you're going to know. And if that's the case, obviously we cannot sign them up for Xoom. We have to have them cancel first. Now, we have to find out if they're in contract, things like that. So what if somebody says, you know what I do when that happens, I find out if they're in a great rate with the company or not. And there's been times where I figured it out and they actually had a really good deal with whoever they signed up with. And I said, you know what, you're great where you are, stay where you're at. But I've also seen other times where they are overpaying. And I tell them, man, if you were with us, you would have saved, $60 or, $40 or whatever it is. And so what if they want to switch over to you? Now, if they want to cancel with a third-party gas procurement provider and come with you, here's where you find it. It's going to be almost the last page on the energy statement, and it's right there. Actually, Xoom will have a page very similar to this once they get connected with Xoom, and it'll have the name of the third-party company as well as the phone number. There you go. So they would have to call and find out if they're in contract, and if they're not in contract, they can cancel. And it usually takes about 30 or so days, okay? Now, sometimes I still sign somebody up about 2 weeks later and it'll go through because it takes a little while for everything to catch up anyway. What if someone has solar? Can they still be my gas customer? Yes, they can. However, let me explain as briefly as I possibly can. So what we need to find out with solar is the true update on the customer's bill. Okay, so what happens when somebody gets solar, once they get in solar, a year later, they will get a final bill to see if they have a balance. Because a lot of times they will, during summertime when the sun's out, they will produce a lot more electricity, and sometimes there's a credit there. Okay, so the goal is to find out when the true update is. So you would look at the summary of your NEM year-to-date charges for the customer, find out when that true update is. It will be indicated there. And what you want to look at is the following month. Okay, so every November is when this particular customer's true update is going to come due. And that will tell the next month I need to look at. And so in November it shows, so December I need to look at that to see, do they owe PG&E or does PG&E owe them? So we would basically look, so if you look at December, you see there's a 4509. There is not a credit. If there was a credit, it would say negative 4509, meaning that there's a PG&E owes them. Okay, so if that's the case, what happens, unfortunately, when there is a credit the following month, PG&E will only pay for PG&E charges. So for example, the transportation, that portion of the bill they will pay for, but say if there's a third party like Xoom, PG&E will not reimburse Xoom what the credit that they have for that member. So what happens sometimes is a member will go to collections, and we certainly don't want that. So that is so important. Look at the day of the true up, whatever that is, look at the following month and look at that detail to see if there's a negative. If there's a negative, that's probably not a good idea. They're a customer. If it's a positive, there's nothing there as far as PG&E owing the customer back, then they can be our customer. So something to keep in mind. I know it could be a bit confusing. If you have any further questions, definitely reach out and then I can explain that further to you. Okay. So now finally see the Google Doc and YouTube videos in the notes there. As you can see in red, that's where you want to look on the YouTube channel for additional information like the Xoom Energy Service information. It's just kind of like notes. The Xoom Energy Dependable. Basically what that is Xoom deregulation explained that you can send that YouTube to customers. So if you say, let me send this to you so you have a better understanding, as well as a Xoom extra YouTube that I created, because they do qualify. When somebody becomes a Xoom customer, they can get the extras, they can get the Xoom energy reward. So there's some videos on there you can send to the customer so they could take advantage of all these rewards and discounts on coupons and so forth, as well as a Xoom lock-in. So say if somebody was with a variable a month to month and you want them to lock in after the 2-month promo, there is a video I created that's on YouTube that you can send that to them, and it'll walk them through step by step how to do that. So as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.